What is our status, download?
We will be vaporized on the surface of the star in less than 6 minutes.
Engineering, how long until the engines are repaired?
The Tyrellians did a number on us before we got them, Captain. It's going to take at least 45 minutes until we're back online.
Damn it! We don't have that kind of time!
Sir, if I can configure the deflector array to emit multiple tractor beams, it may be possible to slingshot ourselves away from the star by using the fragmented remains of the Tyrellian vessel.
Make it...
Amateurs.
What was that?
There appears to be a life form hovering off the starboard bow. I believe it has pushed us away from the star. We are no longer in danger.
Put it on screen. It seems we owe you a debt of gratitude, stranger.
No time for thanks. This detour's cost me enough time as it is. I've got to get to Earth.
He has strong telepathic abilities.
Where the hell is Earth?
A blast as always. Same time next year?
You know it. See you in school tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Is everyone gone? Is it safe for parents to be out here?
Yeah, they're gone.
How'd it go?
You know, it's always fun, but there's only so many zombie movies you could watch in one night.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Hello? Hello? Is anybody there?
I'll assume you're wondering why you're here. From what I've heard about you, you might have already figured it out. As you know, the Guardians of the Globe were recently and mysteriously murdered. And at the time of their death, you were being considered as an addition to the team. The old team worked closely with us, but it was a private organization funded jointly by Darkwing's alter ego and War Woman. Sadly, there is no one there to pick up the torch. So the government has been invited to take over. Simply put, you are a shoo-in. And now we'd like you to be in charge of forming a new team that you will lead.
I'm honored that you have such confidence in my abilities. I will not disappoint you.
That's all I ask. Now behind me here is Donald. He's our superhuman liaison. He'll be your contact within the government. You'll only have to deal with me if something goes horribly wrong. Pray we never meet again.
We plan on holding a recruitment meeting in the next few days. If you can provide me a list of anyone you'd prefer to work with, I'll make sure we contact them.
Son, we need to talk. Mark, we need to talk. Mark, it is very important that we...
Sorry I couldn't be at your party on Tuesday.
We just hung out and watched horror movies. You probably wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Why? Just because I'm a girl? I happen to really like horror movies. As long as they're not zombie movies.
Blasphemy.
Do you want to do some patrolling? Or do you need to go straight home?
Oh! Sure, if you want. You still do that?
Of course. Just because I quit the teen team doesn't mean I hung up my costume for good.
Cool. Let's get changed.
All right, you little
Verts.
Jeez. Yeah, are we on a secure line? Sorry to bother you in the middle of the day, but Mark finally put another one of his costumes in the wash, and I can't remember if it's cold then warm or warm then cold. You'd think I would know this, but Nolan has been washing his uniforms with solar radiation since I shrank his first one on accident.
It's actually cold and cold, like a colorful sweater, but you should really talk Nolan into getting one of my ionic cleansing machines. It'd sure save you a lot of work.
Oh, silly me. I remember that now. And I've given up on the ion thing. Nolan doesn't seem to worry about giving me more reading time, and we're trying to save for Mark's college. Thanks for the help.
You may have won this battle, but the war is far from over. The Lizard League will strike again.
As long as you don't poison the water supply today, I'll be happy. But did you really think I'd let you get out of here?
I think the decision is no longer up to you. Well done, Komodo Dragon. Quickly, let's make our escape while there's one to beat.
That's 10 feet of solid air in front of you boys, and I'm standing here. I suggest you surrender. As you can see, all of your forces have been reduced to a pack of lounge lizards.
Oh, bad one.
Figured I'd give it a shot.
Aside from me taking that one to the face towards the end, I think we did pretty good.
I totally saved your butt.
No way. I'm super fast. I could have caught them if you hadn't been there. But still, we do make a great team.
You think?
Eve, Mark, I'm so glad I found you. We're having tryouts for the new Guardians of the Globe today, and I'd like you both to be there.
With all my schoolwork, I don't think I'll have time to be a member, but I'd love to hang out and see who's trying out.
That's fine. Eve?
I have somewhere to be. You have fun, Mark.
Wow, you guys got quite the turnout.
We're going to be paying well, and the paying work spreads fast in our circle. The Capes Inc. crew out of New York accounts for half of our attendance. Those guys are vultures.
Rex.
Invincible.
You shouldn't let his actions towards Eve affect your opinion of him.
I just can't believe he did that to her.
I can't believe a lot of what you people do, but I try not to hold it against you.
Well, I just want to let you fellas know that I really razzled and dazzled them in there. So, there's at least one less spot left for you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, whatever, asshole.
Sore loser. What are you doing here, little girl? Is your mommy and daddy trying out?
Nope, my mom dropped me off. I'm trying out.
Oh, come on! Isn't there an age requirement or something?
Not that I'm aware of. I think I would have been told by now if there were.
Okay. What's your name? I gotta know.
Monster Girl.
Aw, how cute. You call that because you're scared of monsters? What are your powers?
Wanna see?
Sure, show them to me.
What the? Why isn't anyone trying to stop this?
It'll take much more than that.
Who let you in, ugly?
Who you calling ugly?
He hit that little girl.
It's okay. I can't be hurt in monster form. And anyway, I did get a little carried away. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry I hit you.
Don't sweat it. I can take it. It'll happen a lot more often if I land this gig. Anyone got a cigarette?
Thanks, man.
Just because I'm pissed off at you for what you did to Eve doesn't mean I want to see you dead. That doesn't mean I'm speaking to you either. Oh man, you sure missed some good stuff out there.
Oh?
I'm sure Rex will tell you about it later. Or maybe not.
Oh, that. We saw that on the monitor. Impressive little girl.
How go the auditions?
We're about done. We've got a solid lineup picked and we're reviewing the last candidate now. It's not going well. See for yourself. This one's not looking too promising. Don't let that boy out. I'm going to prepare to announce the lineup.
Will do.
First off, I'd like to thank you all for attending. This was put together under very short notice, and I appreciate you all taking time out of your busy schedules to try it out. There are many of you who had conflicting powers that would have made inclusion on the team redundant, and while you were qualified, we went with someone with more experience who had similar powers. Others, quite frankly, were nowhere near qualified and shouldn't have been allowed to waste my time. You know who you are. With that out of the way, I'd like to announce the lineup for the new Guardians of the Globe. Duplicate, Shrinking Ray, Monster Girl, Black Samson, Rex Plode, as long as he promises to behave. You know, we'd be glad to have you if you're ever interested.
Thanks, man. That really means a lot to me, but I just can't. I'm getting ready for college soon, and I've always got so much homework. I don't know how Rex and Kate juggle things so well. I just don't have the time. So is Dad not gonna make it tonight?
Who knows? I haven't heard from him. He's off saving the world, no doubt.
No doubt.
So, you got any homework tonight?
Yeah, actually. Amber's coming over tonight so we could study for a world history test. That's okay, right?
What's going on with you two? Are you dating?
No, we're just friends. She's just coming over to study.
Weren't you using that excuse with Eve? Come on, son. Do you really expect me to fall for that?
I swear, nothing's going on.
Uh-huh.
Very funny. You know, you're the clone. I had you get the piercings so people could tell us apart. Keep telling yourself that. I got these piercings to differentiate myself from you. My clone. You were the original when you altered your appearance to let the clone keep your normal look. Does that make any sense to you? Oh, whatever. Believe what you want. I tire of this subject. How much more tinkering must you do? I'm tired of all this waiting. You want him to wake up and kill us? I have to make sure the control beacons are operational before I lock down the seals on the collar. If he wakes up and he's not under our control, we will have succeeded only in resurrecting one of our worst enemies. I trust you don't want that. Just hurry. There. Stand back, I'm going to seal it. Once the connection is made, he should revive instantly. That's it. Try to walk. You're doing good. You should be more docile, quiet. The control beacons didn't work. Damn.
You thought you could stop me? You're up against Dark Seismic, kid! I haven't even heard of you!
The name's Invincible. I'm sure you won't have any trouble remembering it after I kick your
That shuts you up!
Yeah, well, it was a cheesy line anyway. I'm still working on my witty banter.
To say the least!
Everyone's a critic.
Young fool! That will be a lesson he won't soon forget. Should have invested in a jetpack long ago.
Don't worry, I'll give you a lift. Straight to jail.
I beg to differ!
Hold tight, I'll save you.
I will not be defeated by the likes of you!
No! Crap.
You saved our lives, Invincible. If it weren't for you, he'd have destroyed Mount Rushmore and us along with it. Thanks.
Don't mention it. Just doing my job. I could get used to this.
Mark?
Oh, hey Dad. Did I wake you up?
No, son. We need to talk.
Come on, Dad. I know Mom put you up to this. She's been bugging me to death about stuff ever since Amber and I started going out. I'm just not in the mood for any birds and bees talk right now. I've got school tomorrow.
Damn beeper.
so I'll see you in physics later?
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Later.
There you are. I've been looking all over the cafeteria for you.
How is it that you just roam free here? Do you have any classes?
Not as far as I'm concerned. Amber know about you and Red over there?
What? That I'm eating lunch with a friend? I haven't run it by her. I know you find it hard to believe, but Eve and I are just friends. She's had a boyfriend for the longest time. Now that he's out of the picture, she's just weird.
And you've got Amber now, so who cares? Anyway, I was wanting to know if you wanted to hit the Burger Mart with Chad and me since you bailed the last few times.
Sure, but I've got to run by the comic shop after school to get my books. I can meet you guys there after I go to the shop. Or you guys can come with me.
Me? Go into a comic shop? No way. I'm already enough of a geek without being seen in a comic shop.
And I'm the one with the girlfriend. Funny.
You home for the day?
Somehow, I doubt it.
Sheesh, what gives? You've been all over the place this week. I've barely seen you.
Well, to be honest, this new Guardians of the Globe isn't nearly as effective or efficient as the old one. I've been picking up their slack. Well, here we go again. Judy calls.
I love you.
I love you too.
Trust me, I have clearance. Damien Darkblood, Demon Detective. I work for the people your boss's bosses aren't important enough to meet.
Look what the cat dragged in. You know, the boss threw us on this for a reason. You're just not cutting the mustard. Your investigation is taking too long.
There was a time when I would have eaten your face for speaking to me that way. Be thankful I've changed my ways. I'm here looking for additional evidence I may have missed on my first pass, because as you so kindly pointed out, I'm out of leads and my investigation is going nowhere. I'd advise you stay out of my way.
He's right up here. Stay back away from the glass.
Sure. Sanford?
I'll leave you two alone.
It fits you well, the costume. Hope I didn't damage it in my little escapade.
Oh, Sanford. I wish you hadn't done this to yourself.
I did it all for you, sir. I couldn't bear another glimpse of what they turned you into. I would have killed every one of them had they not already been dead. Still, they are dead, so I've got nothing really to complain about.
I'm part of the new Guardians of the Globe. I've got some influence. I'm doing what I can to get you out of here. You need counseling, not incarceration.
I would certainly welcome the chance to leave this place.
What's going on? What's this line for?
Huh? Oh, Philip Schaff, the creator of Science Dog, is here signing books.
Really?
Yep, pretty cool, huh? Where are you? Weirdo.
What?
Where'd you... I thought you just left.
Nah, I just went and got my comics. Out of my car.
Well, that was... quick.
Hi, Mr. Schaff. It's great to meet you. I brought a lot of stuff. You don't have to sign all of it if you don't want to.
Lay it on me, kiddo. You paid hard-earned money for this stuff. The least I can do is deface it with my illegible scribble.
Cool. I gotta say, man, I'm amazed at how you get these things out on a monthly basis. It seems like so much work to do in such a short amount of time, and you're never late.
Actually, a lot of times, I'll just reuse art that I've already done over and over. It's good for dramatic pauses and when stuff doesn't really change much from panel to panel. Most people don't even notice.
Don't you think that's kinda cheap?
Not really.
Don't worry, kids. You're safe now. I'll check up on you after I'm done. It's okay. It's over. Everyone is safe now. Why? Why did you do it? I don't know how you did it, but that you should have stayed dead. I want answers!
Yeah, he was just in town and asked if he could sign here. If we'd known more ahead of time, we would have advertised.
Man, that was so cool.
You want a comic shop news?
Always. Hey man, can you turn that up?
It was shortly after the monster was defeated that Omni-Man, defender of democracy, was attacked by what eyewitnesses are describing as the recently deceased Guardians of the Globe member, the Immortal.
Waiter man, you have a nice day?
It was then that Omni-Man allegedly shot out of the crater you see behind me, sending himself and the Immortal into the skies where we can't see them. It is unclear whether or not this is the Immortal. He wouldn't be the first hero to return from the dead, but experts are still skeptical. It is unclear if this has anything to do with the murder of the Guardians of the Globe. What is clear is that the attack on Omni-Man was completely unprovoked and unexpected, and that whoever is behind this, immortal or not, is evenly matched with Omni-Man. With the fight taken to the skies, there is no way to monitor the proceedings. We may never know exactly what's going on today. We'll bring you updates as they come in. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program.
Why, damn it! Why did you kill them? I'll beat it out of you if I have to! I killed you once! I can do it again! You're welcome to try!
Dad?
Son. We need to talk. Okay, son. I've decided to tell you the truth. I think you're old enough to know where I really come from. I am from the planet Viltrum. That much is true. Although, it is not the planet that I have told you about so many times. Viltrum was a planet that had achieved a perfect global society. But it didn't happen overnight. It was decided that in order for our people to obtain intergalactic dominance, we must eliminate the weak from our planet. It was a very messy process. When the dust settled, our population had been cut nearly in half. But what emerged from the ashes of our old society was a fierce, unbeatable warrior race. Once our battle-scarred planet had been repaired, we set our sights outward. It was proposed that we bring our new world order to other worlds. Our goal was to establish and expand a planetary empire. It was agreed upon unanimously. Shortly after the High Council had approved the idea, the World Conquering Committee was formed. The first step of the initiative was to locate other planets that were in a crucial state of development. Planets that were far enough along that adding them to the Empire would be a worthwhile endeavor, but not so far along that we would be unable to overcome their defenses. The second step was to install a global watchtower where we could keep supplies for a long-term occupation and monitor the entire planet from orbit. The final step was to send a team of representatives down to the planet's surface to announce our takeover. This team would stay behind on the planet, monitoring its activities. Races who cooperated were given access to our technologies, which could be used to improve the quality of life under our rule. Races who resisted were not looked upon so favorably. With our expansion clearly a success, my people doubled their efforts. We began to enlist the aid of races we had conquered to continue to expand our empire. Though they were not quite as efficient as our own forces, it did help with our expansion efforts. By the time I was born, Viltrum was already a hub of interstellar activity, one of the first great empires of the galaxy. There couldn't have been a better time to enter this world. Word traveled around Viltrum about how much of a success the World Conquering Committee was. Soon, it was the most popular profession on Viltrum. Of course, when I came of age, I signed up for duty. I was on the search committee. My job was to locate and evaluate planets that might be ripe for conquest. By then, the operation had been expanded and perfected. I was stationed on a mobile base that traveled from planet to planet as we conquered them. I was not content to just help my people locate other worlds. Like all the search committee members my age, I longed for the chance to take a more active role in the world conquering. For 3 years straight, I attended auditions until at last, I had proven myself. I had impressed the heads of recruitment so much that I got one of the best posts in the Conquering Committee. I was stationed at the forefront of the expansion efforts, at the very edge of our ever-growing empire. I threw myself into my work. It was messy work, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it. There was nothing I wouldn't do for Viltrum. There still isn't. As we moved across the galaxy, adding civilization after civilization to our empire, I quickly rose through the ranks. It wasn't long before I was leading my own division. It didn't matter if it took 100 hours or 100 years. No civilization we set our sights on went unconquered. We were unstoppable. Our continued success was partially because of my efforts, for which I was greatly rewarded. First with awards, and eventually with much more. As our empire grew, our forces became stretched too thin just trying to maintain it. Our expansion screeched to an abrupt halt. It was clear that we needed a more efficient method of world conquering. So one was devised. Rather than come in large numbers and conquer a planet by force, our highest ranked and most trusted officers would be essentially given planets to survey and weaken over time. I was one of the first chosen for this assignment. We were to acclimate ourselves with the planet's environment, eventually becoming a member of society. Aside from ensuring the planet did not become strong enough to defend itself from us, it would be ours to do with as we pleased for 500 years. At the end of that time, the knowledge we had collected would be used to quickly and efficiently bring the planet under Viltrum rule. It was a privilege to be given this assignment, a reward for all my hard work. It was the closest thing to a vacation that existed on Viltrum. Upon my arrival, I spent days surveying my new home. Earth was a vibrant nest of individuality that was very much alien to me. At first I hated it, and regretted accepting the mission. It was a strange planet full of strange people, but it was mine. It wasn't long before I realized this would be no easy assignment. Had the World Conquering Committee known Earth was such a volatile environment, they may not have chosen it. It seemed its people were almost always in some kind of danger. Every time I turned around, there was a new threat out to conquer the planet before Viltrum even had a chance. We had laid claim to this planet. I was not about to let it fall to another invader. After only a few months, my life had settled into a routine that involved little more than ending threat after threat to the human race. But all that was about to change. When I met your mother, I knew the only way to enjoy my time here was to actually live as a human. When it eventually came up, I told her the version of my coming to Earth that you have been told since childhood. It was clear she wouldn't approve of the real reasons I was here. Living life as a human was not easy at first. Simple concepts like menial labor being required to earn a living were completely alien to me. Though, the act of physical love made for anything other than procreation was a welcome surprise. I soon found myself becoming a regular fixture in the superhero community. My natural Viltrumite abilities made me the most powerful being on the planet. I found myself on adventure after adventure. After a time, I realized that my true motives had begun to slip from my mind. I was living the lie a bit too well. It wasn't long after your mother and I married that I first ran into the Guardians of the Globe. I never became an official member, but I was welcomed into the fold with open arms. They helped me along in the early years. They knew I was new to this, and they were all too eager to assist me. Some of them I would even eventually come to consider friends, but I knew they would never allow me to complete my mission. I knew that they would eventually need to be eliminated. As my years grew longer, I found myself becoming more and more comfortable living life among its inhabitants. It was something that worried me a great deal. Then everything changed. Your mother was so happy. I had no choice but to raise you as a human. I couldn't risk her finding out the truth about me, so I couldn't risk telling you the truth about me. I often thought about taking you and raising you as a Viltrumite in a secluded area of the planet. I could never bring myself to do it. No matter how I tried to distance myself from her emotionally, I couldn't deny that I had grown quite fond of her. I decided that for a time, I would turn my back on my duties and focus on raising you. I thought that you would be able to provide a unique perspective to the World-Conquering Committee, having grown up in this alien environment. Honestly, I was happy in my new life. But I knew it couldn't last. When you started to develop your powers, I knew I couldn't wait much longer. So I made the first step towards weakening Earth's defenses. And now it's time for you to join me and help me prepare this planet for its imminent takeover at the hands of our people. I know this is all hard to take in at once, but over time, if you give it a chance, you'll begin to understand. I'm sorry you had to learn about all this under these circumstances. I tried to talk to you earlier. Seeing this, I know, is not the best way to lead into this speech.
No. This can't be true. This doesn't make any sense. You love Mom. I know you do.
Son, stop. Listen to me. Do you have any idea what our lifespan is? The older we get, the slower we age. We can't live among these frail things. Your mother is little more than a pet. Viltrumite DNA is so pure and complete that you are nearly full-blooded. I could mate with nearly any alien being of comparable evolutionary development and produce a similar offspring. This means you will eventually be as strong as me. You could potentially be stronger. And you will live for thousands of years. Do you understand what this means? Everything you know and love will be gone before you look 30 years old. You do not belong here. Do you really want to watch your world die around you? I know this is confusing, but everything you know is wrong. We don't belong here. This world is beneath us. These people are beneath us. This planet and its resources are valuable to the Viltrum Empire. With you at my side, we could rule this planet for centuries before we had to turn it over. Think about it, son. You must realize this is right. Trust me, son. This is the only way.
Don't touch me!
Mark, calm down.
No! I will not calm down! This is insane! What did you expect here? That I'm going to enslave my friends for a bunch of aliens I've never even met? This is my life! These are my people!
Son, please. You're not thinking this through. We have a responsibility to our homeworld. You may not understand now, but...
I don't give a damn about Viltrum or anything you're telling me! I don't care if I live for 1,000,000 years! This is my home, and I will not let you destroy it!
Son, you don't understand what you're saying. I can't let you interfere.
I know exactly what I'm saying.
So be it. Son, now do you see? This is not our world. One punch from one of our people and thousands lose their lives. Can't you understand that? These people are beneath us. Their lives are insignificant at best. This place has nothing to offer you, or any of our kind. It is here to be conquered and improved. Left to its own devices, it would be a complete waste.
How can you say these things? How can you say that about Mom? You love her! I've seen it!
Your mother means nothing to me. Liar! No! I'm telling you the truth for the first time in your life! I don't give a damn about anyone on this planet. They mean nothing to me. They are livestock, meaningless animals. You can't look at them as equals.
No! You're wrong! I've seen you save people! I've seen you protect them! You may have been a cold-hearted Viltrumite, but when you came to Earth, you changed! I've seen it! You said yourself that you lost your way. You lived as a human while you were raising me. You said you were happy! You can't make me believe that my whole life with you was a lie!
find my actions hard to believe. My time here has been a speck in the span of my life. You are not listening to me. You don't even know me, son. Yes, for a time, I was happy, but I knew it couldn't last. My loyalties lie with Viltrum, not this pathetic excuse for a civilization. I will see this planet burn and all life eradicated before I spend another minute living amongst them as one of their own. I'm tired of this game. If you choose to stand against me, you can die with them. I can always produce more offspring.
You bastard!
You are a fool to oppose me. I thought I taught you better than that. You disappoint me, Mark. Had enough yet?
I will stop you.
I'm ready when you are. You're doing this for nothing. We will share our technology with them. We'll bring them up to speed with the rest of the universe. In time, Earth will be better than it ever was.
And what if they resist?
We will destroy them. But that's what we're here for, to keep them from resisting.
I won't let you enslave these people, Dad. This isn't right.
Why? Why? Why do you resist? What is it you think this world has to offer? Whatever you're fighting for right now will be gone before you have time to enjoy it. You are fighting so you can watch everything around you die. Think, Mark. Think! The older we get, the slower we age. You will outlast every fragile being on this planet. You will live to see the end of this civilization. Everything and everyone you know will be gone! What will you have after 500 years?
You, Dad. I'd still have you. Dad. Dad. Huh?
Oh, good. You're awake.
I thought it might have been a dream.
Believe me, kid, I wish you were. You've been out for almost 2 weeks, but my guys have got you patched up real good. You should be back up to full speed in a day or two. We're basically just keeping you here for observation. We want to make sure there's nothing wrong that we missed. My name is Cecil Stedman. You don't know me, but I knew your father very well. Or so I thought. I'm so high-ranked in the U.S. government, I don't even have a rank. I'm so far above the head of the CIA, he doesn't even know I exist. I'm also in charge of the Guardians of the Globe and their new government-sanctioned entity, and the newly reinstated Guard organization. My job is to keep the world safe, no matter what the cost. Your father was my top operative. I was the man on the other end of his beeper, and when he was in costume, his earpiece. I have a team of world watchers who monitor our entire planet around the clock. When problems arose, your father was sent in to deal with them. I had no idea what his real motives were, and not a lot slips past me. I know you're going through a lot right now, but I'd like to ask you some questions. It's good to see you're awake and aware. Your mother was nearly catatonic for the first week after the event. She's still not altogether there, but she's getting better. Now, if you'll just... Oh. Another time then. Sorry to bother.
Oh, hey, William.
Oh, hey.
Have you heard from Mark? He hasn't been in school for 2 weeks, and I'm starting to get worried.
No, nobody's at home, and I haven't heard from him since that stuff between his father and him was on the news. I'm really...
Wait a minute. You know?
Oh, man. You know too? Thank God! I thought I totally blew it. So, you think he's okay?
I don't know.
Miss Grayson, I need to talk with you for a minute. I know that it's the least of your worries at this point, but I wanted to let you know that you're being taken care of. I understand that Nolan was responsible for the family finances, and that you have no income whatsoever without him. As far as the public is concerned, your husband died in a horrible car crash last week. We wanted to preserve his secret identity and keep you and Mark safe. Nolan Grayson, the author, has become an international superstar after his death. His books always did sell well enough to provide your family with a decent income. Since his death, all of his books have gone into third printings in less than a week. I have the power to manipulate the buying trends of the public. I can ensure you that you will have a steady, substantial income for the remainder of your life. A proxy has attended a faux funeral and been interviewed by the press. Don't be alarmed if you see yourself on the news. Our holographics division is second to none. This has been done to ensure that when you're ready, you and your son can return to your home and resume your daily lives, with as little additional problems to deal with as possible. I know this is all a little overwhelming, and I apologize for all that's gone on. I just hope that I can help you in some small way.
Why? Why are you doing all this?
Because I feel responsible for your husband's actions. He was doing all of this right under my nose, and I never saw it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't do everything in my power to make things as right as they can be. And my power is vast.
Oh, good. You're here. I didn't know if you would be.
We've been using this base as a temporary headquarters until the government can secure us a more suitable facility. The former Guardians of the Globe headquarters is still owned jointly by War Woman's Corporation and Darkwing's estate. This facility is still sufficient for our needs.
Robot, I really need your help. Invincible has been missing since that fight with Omni-Man was televised, and I don't know where he could be. He could be dead, or lying somewhere near dead. Do you think you could call in a favor from someone in the government and try to find him? You could use spy satellites or something.
I was not aware of Invincible's disappearance. I will do my best to locate him. You have my word.
Thanks, Robot. Please let me know as soon as you find something out.
Eve,
What gave you the impression that we were speaking again?
Thanks for waiting. Sorry for the delay.
No problem at all, Donald. Before we start the meeting, it's been brought to my attention that a colleague of mine has gone missing. Invincible hasn't been seen or heard from since the incident with his father, Omni-Man, was all over the news. I was wondering if you'd be willing to allow me to be able to...
He's fine. We have him in custody. He was injured, and we've been providing him with medical attention. But Robot, between you and I, he's the least of your concerns. Your handpicked Guardians of the Globe are struggling. The response time of your team leaves much to be desired, and while you haven't outright failed on a mission yet, the top brass is not happy. All eyes are on you. You need to make sure not to mess anything up in the coming weeks. You're more or less on probation.
I see. Understood.
So it was all over the news?
Yeah, to say the least. It's public knowledge that you were the son of Omni-Man. Now the public sees you and Omni-Man in a knockdown, drag-out brawl that resulted in thousands of lost lives and over twice as many injuries. Nobody knows why, though. Nobody knows you were protecting this planet from your father. Nobody knows that you were risking your life for the good of us all.
How do you know?
Your father's earpiece, the one I mentioned before, works both ways. He could hear me, I could hear him. It picks up quite a bit. I could hear you as well. We have the whole conversation recorded. Come with me. It's good to see you up and around. How do you feel?
Fine, I guess.
Good. Through here. As I was saying, we have the whole conversation on tape. We let your mother listen to it, to save you the trouble of having to explain this whole ordeal. She was pretty upset, but I think it'll be good for her in the long run to have heard everything your father said.
You did what? She heard everything he said? How could you do that to her? Some of the things he said... I can't bear the thought of her ever hearing them. What the hell were you thinking?
It was the best way, trust me. What would you have told her had happened? His reasons, his motives. Don't you think she deserves to know the truth?
Yeah, but...
I did the right thing. If you had sugarcoated the whole situation, maybe she would be sitting at home waiting for him to come back instead of dealing with the seriousness of it all.
I suppose you're right. Wait a minute. Where are we?
Oh, sorry. Lights! Okay, that's enough. Lights!
What? What in the world just happened? Where did all that go?
It's still here. It hasn't moved. The water America drinks so conveniently from their tap is laced with a chemical that inhibits the eye's ability to see certain frequencies of light. Those frequencies are used in this room.
So it's all just invisible?
Yes. You and everyone else in America don't have the ability to see things in this room and elsewhere. You'd be surprised how often this is used. I turned the lights off for a second just so you could see what I'm talking about. I hope you didn't see too much. If you did, I'll have to kill you.
Ha ha, very funny.
An oldie, but a goodie.
So if it's the light in the room that makes me unable to see anything, how come I can see myself and you?
That's complicated. We didn't want you to be too alarmed when you came in. It was important that you at least see something. Explaining that would be a waste of time. A lot of time. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, your mother knows. I've also taken care of your family finances so you won't have to worry about an income. Your college, too, will be paid for. I've pulled some strings. You got a full scholarship to Upstate University last week.
Sweet!
Aren't you the least bit concerned with what I will want in return for all this? I am part of the big scary government, after all.
Crap. I knew there'd be a catch.
Don't worry. It's not that bad. Your father is gone. We monitored him on our sensors all the way past our range. He didn't change trajectories at all. He was going somewhere. He is not in our solar system anymore. We have proof that there are other planets capable of supporting life. Knowing how long he can hold his breath and how fast he can fly, it's not unreasonable to assume your father could make it to one of these planets. He was not committing suicide by flying into space. That was one of our technicians' theories. At least, we're pretty sure he wasn't. What I'm getting at is, he's gone. Your father was very valuable to us. Especially after the Guardians of the Globe were dead. He saved a lot of lives, and this entire planet more times than I can remember. We need a replacement.
You mean me?
Pretty much, yeah. We've been keeping an eye on you since your father told us you were developing powers of your own. You've improved vastly in a very short amount of time. Your father himself said that you will eventually be just as powerful as him. We need you. And, as you already know, we have a lot to offer you in return. What do you say?
All I have to do is be a superhero and allow you to tell me where I need to be when bad stuff happens, and in return, you'll take care of my mom and I get a scholarship?
That's the gist of it, kid.
Count me in.
Alright then. Follow me. Now all we need to do is fit you with an earpiece and get you a beeper and you'll be ready to go home with your mother. Welcome aboard, Mark.
Eve?
Oh, good. I was afraid your parents would answer the door. I hadn't come up with a good excuse for being here that didn't involve our mutual friend being a superhero.
What can I do for you? Did you hear from Mark?
No, but my, friend works for the government. And he says that he was injured, but that they have him and he's healing up. He should be back soon.
So Mark's fine? Good. That's great news. Man, I was so worried about him.
Me too.
But he's safe now. You want to get something to eat? To celebrate?
So,
I'm going to bed.
Mom, are you gonna be okay?
No, not even close.
What the? Oh, crap! What do we have, Cecil?
First off, never say my name. Second, are you wearing your costume?
Not yet.
Never activate the headset until you're in costume. The beeper is your cover. You can always use that as an out if you're with people. You need to get in the habit of not activating the headset until you're in costume, so people never see you activate the headset. You need to get into space right now. Your friend is back. Your dad told me how you talked to him about not returning. His reappearance has me worried that this is connected to your father in some way. Maybe he was working with your father all along. Keep your guard up.
Will do. I just need to grab my spare costume, and I'm gone.
Invincible! Thank heavens! When you didn't immediately show up, I thought it was too late. I have to warn you. Nice punch, by the way.
What do you mean? Warn me of what?
When I returned to the Coalition of Planets' home world and told them that I had been going to Earth instead of Urath, they flipped out. It seems Earth is off limits to the Coalition. You've got a Viltrumite living among you.
Oh, that.
What do you mean? You already know?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Have a seat. This might take a while.
So, you're a Viltrumite? But you don't work for them. And your dad left. He just left.
Yeah. I've never been to Viltrum. I don't really know much about them, but yeah. As far as we can tell, my dad is just gone.
That is highly unorthodox behavior for a Viltrumite. They don't just leave their post. They destroyed my home world hundreds of years ago. My people are a nomadic species because we resisted the Viltrumites when they attempted to take over.
I'm very sorry.
Don't be. You had no part in it. From the sounds of it, I'm the one that should be apologizing to you. If I had checked my records before I left here, I might have seen that Earth had been flagged as being prepped for a Viltrumite takeover. I could have warned you.
I would have just gone to my dad and asked him about it. Who knows how things would have played out had that actually happened.
Still, I feel like I should have done something. I cannot imagine what you're going through. Since our homeworld was destroyed, my people have been taking steps to ensure our survival. We have breeding camps and child-raising colonies. I've never even met my father. The Coalition of Planets will want to hear about you. We are at odds with the Viltrum Empire. A great power struggle is brewing in the farthest reaches of space. The Coalition is trying to unite enough worlds to have an army powerful enough to stop the Viltrumite expansion throughout the galaxy. The Viltrumites are so strong individually that they are virtually unstoppable. But no one has ever heard of a Viltrumite abandoning his post or one that defies the Empire altogether. I must bring them this news at once. This could be the advantage they're looking for.
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. I'm not looking forward to Viltrum returning to the planet to claim it as part of their empire.
Will do. I'll certainly let you know as soon as I hear something from the Coalition. In the meantime, what about you? With your father gone and all that's happened, what are you gonna do?
Finish high school, I guess.